Greetings, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I'm Sharon Clements, and the Power of You Self-Health Optimization Program. Um, the Self-Health Optimization Program is focused on helping individuals to assist their bodies in healing and staying healthy, because as most of us know, the body is a self-healing machine. Sometimes it does need our assistance with diet and exercise and many different holistic health modalities that are out there that a lot of us may use and maybe we don't know about. So the focus is also on bringing those different holistic health mobilities to the audience, to the listening audience. And tonight we're doing a part 2 from the previous podcast 2 weeks ago. We were so fortunate to have Sifu William. That's William Laurie, and Sifu is his title, which means teacher. William is a advanced energetic medicine practitioner. He practices Qigong. He's a naturopath, practitioner of traditional Asian medicine, and much, much more. And tonight he's going to talk to us about Qigong and do a comparison of Qigong and Tai Chi. And at the end of his presentation, we're going to be able to ask him questions. So I ask everyone to mute themselves until we get to that question and answer period, the last part of the program. So without further ado, I'm bringing to you Sifu William.
Hello, everyone. Sifu William speaking. I want to do a brief recap of last time we were on. It's a pleasure once again, Sharon, for you all to have me on here again.
Great to have you back again by popular demand.
Thank you. The last one we did was on 5 elements, which is just the basis of some portions of traditional Asian medicine. The 5 elements pertain to particular acupuncture meridians. In our terms, we would say organs, but the meridians, if you think about it, is the central nervous system, or how the body communicates to an organ, and it's a network that goes throughout the body. Okay, so the liver would be wood, and it's coupled with the gallbladder. Water would be kidney, which is paired with the urinary bladder. You have the heart and the pericardium. Well, actually, sorry, let me skip that. The heart, which is paired with the small intestine. Lungs, which are paired with the large intestine. Okay, and that would be how the 5 elements without the breakdown of wood, water, earth, and all that. You know, that's pretty much that encompasses most of them anyway. I'm not going to cover everything like that. Just wanted to give you a brief recap. You can look up the information on the 5 elements online. My tip last class was to, well, the last seminar was.
This is Cordell Smith.
Hey, Mr. C. That's one of my mentors. All right, this one we're going to do it on Tai Chi and versus Qigong, which is what is different. What the difference is. Often enough, you hear a lot of people in this country talking about Tai Chi, but no one mentions Qigong. In fact, people don't know what Qigong is. If you try to open up a class teaching it, strictly on its own, it would cause a lot of confusion. You probably would have too many people come in your doors unless there's someone who's practicing martial arts for decades or years.
And William, could you tell us what is Qigong?
Qigong simply is breathing exercise or breath work. That's what it translates to. Gong meaning work, Qi meaning breath. Tai Chi is translated into grand ultimate, pretty much, and that's what Tai Chi translates into. Qigong has thousands of systems. There are thousands of systems of Qigong where Tai Chi has very little. I mean, in comparison to it. There are a lot of Tai Chi systems out there. Don't get me wrong, but there's certain ones that are major. There's a Chin style, which is considered old cannon fist or the old original style. Then you have Yang style, which derived from Chin. Then you have Wu, which comes from Yang, and then you have Sun style Tai Chi, which is came out pretty much last century. It was invented by a very prolific internal martial arts stylist. Internal martial arts, they pretty much encompass all basically the healing type of martial arts, if you will, and some fighting arts that are designed to accumulate energy, so to speak, and help you maintain your health as well as your fighting prowess. Tai Chi is known as was originally famous for its fighting capabilities. That's what made it famous more than its healing abilities. However, during the not the Cultural Revolution in China, but during the Opium Wars and the Chinese Boxing Rebellion, after China had expelled a lot of or were attempting to expel a lot of the Western countries from their country, the opium, which they were forced to trade in instead of taking money, had wreaked havoc on its people. They were impoverished, they were very sickly, and they were known as the sick men in Asia. And essentially with Tai Chi, people who, like Sun Fu Quan, Sun Lutang, who was eventually invented Sun style Tai Chi,
And
and other.
William, who those people you mentioned? Who were they?
Sun Lutang was the founder of the Sun style Tai Chi school of martial arts. He was known as known as one of the first, if not the first, martial artist to write a book. He was a scholar slash a martial artist. And they were essentially like a dumb jock, pretty much. But often enough, these martial artists, they were like essentially like a mayor and a sheriff of a town, essentially, is what they were, because they were known for their fighting ability. They kept people from coming in and robbing them, and they would stabilize their local township, wherever they were at. So Lutang also had a background in the military. He was a colonel or general or something of that nature. I don't really recall, but he was known for knowing his original school, well, one of the original schools he studied in, that he really became famous and was probably known as the best practitioner was Xingyi Chuan, which is mind form boxing style, which Tai Chi itself is. There's three of the internal systems, what they call the Neijia systems, which end up being a misnomer, but they call it that now. There's Tai Chi, Xingyi, and Bagua. Those are the three systems. However, we're focusing on Tai Chi for the moment. But he combined those three systems and made his own Tai Chi up.
Mm-hmm.
The Chin style Tai Chi school is one of the oldest schools that is known. And I say one of them that's known. There's probably other ones. They had to come from somewhere. But with the Chin style itself, they're known for wide stances, low stances. They're known for expelling energy, such as by throwing very quick punches out of nowhere or stomping out of nowhere. And this is to hide the movements of the system and also to disperse bad internal energy or bad energy that was accumulated. The Sun style combines, like I said, it combines Tai Chi, Bagua, and Xingyi. It is a narrower stance. You don't have to go as low. And Sun Lutang invented it because, like I said, during the Opium Wars, once that was over with, they had pretty much had to restore the health of the people of the country, and they utilized these systems and simplified them in order to help them. Now, with his particular school, he combined those three because he found them to have a strong healing effect. He had a background in Qigong as well as a system called light body fighting skills. So he combined it. He made it so it would be simple and easy to learn. His is one of pretty much the newer systems. However, with his system of Tai Chi, Sun Lutang's system, the Sun style Tai Chi, what took place is that it's not as popular, but now it's starting to gain momentum because a lot of people have a lot of problems where they can't bend over or stand as deep because they've gotten older and they don't have this ability to move. My teacher's teacher he came in this country. He saw the state of Tai Chi in the United States, and he said it was pretty poor. And he showed us another set of Tai Chi. He called it Tai Chi Qigong, 13 posture. You might be able to find it on YouTube. I don't know. But this Tai Chi, he had us, we bent over, and the idea of Tai Chi, as far as he was concerned, which you can see, there's another system called Wu Tai Chi, which Sun Lutang developed from that system. And it is designed to reinflate the disc of the spine, the joints, and replace what was missing back in them. So in essence, you shouldn't walk around as stiff. You shouldn't have spinal or neck issues that you can't regulate, and helps restore. And in turn, it regulates the internal organs. Now this gets into Qigong, because there's an art called Neigong. Neigong is the bone marrow muscle tendon change, or the bone marrow muscle tendon change classic, which is designed to heal you from your spine out to all your organs.
Okay, wait. Let me ask you a question. So I just want to be clear. So did Qigong emerge out of Tai Chi or vice versa?
Vice versa. Qigong predates thousands of years before Tai Chi did. Okay. Some of the records go back, like I think 4,000 or 5,000 years. The one particular system that I study, which is Dawen Pai, is I think it's 1,700 years old, and it's the Taoist elixir system, and it has the tendency to act like an acupuncture needle from the inside of the body on out, which it differs. It very much differs from a lot of the Qigong that's out there, in the fact that it doesn't have any known side effects. And it's pretty much a very potent system. One of the people who were on the podcast last week, Cindy, if she's here tonight, she had the firsthand experience of one of the first monastery Qigong sets that I had, and she should be practicing this week still. It is a very potent system, and with Qigong and Tai Chi alike, it takes a lot of dedication of yourself. You really have to be committed to yourself in order to practice these arts. I'm not saying you have to become a hermit. You don't have to become a monk. If you were the type of person that likes to knit, and you like to knit on your evenings, that's what it takes. It's the same practice. You take half an hour, 15, 20 minutes. You do a little bit here and there, but you constantly experiment with this. Qigong is more specific. It has more specific tasks than Tai Chi does. Qigong typically is not known as a fighting art system, where Tai Chi it is, but people try to water it down. Say it's not. No, it's known as old. One of the names was Old Cannon Fist, or High Reach Boxing Style is one of the names, other than the Grand Ultimate, which people call it today. There's fighting systems like Tengun. Celestial Stem Training is known as a fighting system. Then there is 7 Stars, which is found within the Taoist elixir system that I study. There's Qigong out there that's designed for. Matter of fact, your fighting power comes from Qigong. Most of your best prolific fighters out there will tell you that they get all their fighting ability from Qi or Qigong. That's where it comes from. Like I said, Qigong can be targeted specifically. It can be targeted for like I did in the previous class, 5 elements. There's 5 element Qigong. There's various ones out there. There's 8 pieces of the brocade, which was designed for warriors to help them recover from injury from battle. And also, in my practice of it, I noticed I started not wanting to sleep at all, just maybe 2 hours a day in a 24-hour period. I felt fine. However, you got to remember it was designed for warriors, and that's why the results come out the way they do.
William, I had a brief experience with Qigong
right.
A year or so ago, and the instructor focused on different organs in the body.
Yes.
Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, there's Qigong for the lungs. It's for the
Qigong.
You have Qigong for the heart. You have Qigong for whatever organ that there is, and you can also go elements. There's even sounds that you can utilize to stimulate an acupuncture meridian or organ. There's a Qigong iron vest training, which is designed to strengthen the muscle sinews. And what it does is it prevents you from being stabbed or cut. There's Stone Warrior Qigong, which I took a portion of that, and I took a portion of something called Golden Bell Qigong. I combined it for my sons when they were entering bodybuilding championship tournaments. He already won the national championship, but when I took him to the second one, which was 6 weeks later, he doubled in size. And they were like, what in the world? They thought he was using steroids. He was not. He used nothing but Qigong, and of course I had him on a healthy diet. He was pretty much on a vegetarian diet during the first and second tournament. The Stone Warrior program is designed to help you build muscle, but it's also designed for you to gain strength. That's different than normal.
So William, what about I notice a lot of older people do Qigong, and they're
right.
not, they're not using it for, for fighting or anything like that. They're
right. And back to the health concerns. Yeah, back to the health concerns of it. You can use Qigong for whatever ails you. Like right now I have a cold, so I've been practicing Qigong today, and sinus is open. There's no problem. I had COVID a couple of weeks ago. Wiped it out in 2 days. I had no symptoms whatsoever. It can be used to treat for cancer. Chilel Qigong. They had what was called the only medicalist hospital in the world. It was based in China. China shut them down because they said it's a cult. Anytime you get a group together, they do that. They shut you down. But they were known for eradicating cancer, any disease that stepped in there. They're pretty much able to take care of it. Then they taught you a different aspect of Qigong, which is to emit Qi using 5Qi or La Qi, which emits your Qi into someone, or you utilize their Qi, and you're able to, which is the energy itself, or the body's medicine, you're able to activate, shrink tumors, stop pain, mend broken bones, fix whatever may ail you. They were doing that there. So they shut that hospital down. I think it was 7 or 8 years, maybe it's 10 years ago they shut it down. But this Qigong is available readily for you to learn, and I studied Qigong I think for 3 or 4 years. The thing is, what you have to watch out with all Qigong, is it right for you? Which Tai Chi is right for you? I had a co-worker, and I worked as a respiratory therapist for 20 years. She was a nurse anesthetist, and she was a practitioner of Tai Chi. She studied Yang style, Sun style, and Chin style. And she kept on, she was upset, because she could not win these push hand tournaments. And that's a method that they learned to uproot you, to throw you off balance, throw you left or right, or whatever. She could not win. And I looked at her and said, can I see you practice your Chin style? Can I see you practice the other style? So I went ahead and backed up, and I studied Wing Chun. We had something similar to push hands, which is Chi style. So I worked with her, and I was throwing it all over the place. I said, now I want you to get your Chin stance, and I want you to try it. She did it with Chin. She was able to uproot and throw me. So they have a lot of different developments within Chin style, which is I think it's a more complete system. And I'm not a practitioner of Tai Chi. The only Tai Chi I know is monastery based. It's 8 moves, and it was designed for fighting. It's a fast-paced system. And it's a devastating system. I fought people with it before. Now, as far as Qigong, you have to find a Qigong teacher, or you have to find a Qigong system that will benefit you.
So, is Qigong good for stress relief?
It is good. Both of them are. Tai Chi and Qigong both are very good for stress relief.
When we see that, I used to work across the street from Washington Square in Philadelphia, which is a park in Center City, Philadelphia. And in the morning, I would see several really older Asian people in the park doing what I thought was Tai Chi, but now I'm not so sure. It could have been Qigong.
It could have been a combination of thereof. Mm-hmm. It could have been. It could have been Tai Chi and Qigong, as far as you know. And more than likely, that's what it was. Qigong is the root of Tai Chi. And there are a lot of people out there who practice Tai Chi that don't understand its root. And they'll practice Tai Chi because they want to learn Tai Chi, and they'll lock everything out. Many schools will have Qigong within it and then teach you Tai Chi. But to keep the doors open, they'll have a Tai Chi 12 posture workout one day, and people will work on it, and they'll get that, and that's where they'll stop at. They won't do anything else. It's become commercialized. There are a lot of people out there, you know, who have tainted Tai Chi. And like I said, my teacher who taught me Qigong, he taught me the fighting version and the health version. He pretty much said, you know, when his teacher, Sharon Lu, came here, he just looked at the Tai Chi practitioners and shook his head. You know, this is not Tai Chi. And when I performed the 13 posture Tai Chi Gong that I was taught from that school in front of Tai Chi practitioners, said, that's Tai Chi. I said, I know it is. You know, and it doesn't look anything like Tai Chi, but yet and still the movements of the spine and what I'm doing, some of the movements do look like it, but when I'm done with it, they're like, that is Tai Chi. So, oh, yeah, it is. And, you know, I've worked with people who study Tai Chi for 25 plus years, and they see me work with them, and I take their Tai Chi and I transform it to what it's supposed to be.
So do you work with people one-on-one?
Yes, I work with people one-on-one. Hopefully soon I'll be able to start a class, probably about April or May.
Very good, very good.
May I be heard?
We're going to have questions in a few minutes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hold your question. Thank you.
Okay. I can take questions now if you want, unless you have any more.
Were you finished what you wanted to say?
Pretty much.
Okay. Who's that, Susan?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, go ahead. What's your question?
The question is this. You work on a lot of people, and I'm thinking to myself, I had a friend who is a massage therapist, and it seems like, you know, it takes a lot out of you to give all that energy to a person. How do you revive yourself after you, you know, you've worked on a person? How do you come back down and relax you? Because that's a lot of energy exerting, sir. I just want to know.
Well, for me personally, I've been doing this since I was 6 years old. I've never slowed down. I learned that I need to take time to focus on myself and accumulate energy when I need to. I learned to release things through my teacher, Cornell, who's out here tonight. I also practice my Qigong. Qigong, there's certain Qigong I do before I touch anybody sometimes. And there's certain times I don't have to do it, but there's times that I have to do it. If I've seen a lot of people that get myself where I need to be, I'll do certain types of Qigong that'll get me there. And often enough, I'll do a lot of Qigong before that, for that whole week. And the Qigong I have builds your energy throughout. It can build it throughout the week. And I have to do very little when I'm seeing people.
And
thank you very much.
Thank you for the question, Susan. And I know you mentioned Cordell is your teacher. I heard him sign on. If you're still there, Cordell, could you respond? Are you there? Well, you would need to unmute yourself if you're there. Okay, maybe he left.
Maybe.
Okay, did we have any other questions? Okay. So, I noticed you mentioned something about the disc in your spine and how, you know, Qigong could help you with that, because that's an issue that I have personally. I have a herniated disc. So, you know, when you go to the doctor, they always want to do surgery or something like that, which is out of the question for me. But
right.
What could I do to help me with that?
Well, I would have to see you before I would say it. But for myself, in one part of my life, I was a paratrooper, and I was a indirect fire infantryman. So I had numerous spinal injuries as a result, like stenosis, etc. However, I do my Qigong, I'm fine. They have done tests that like, well, how are you able to walk? You shouldn't be able to walk. You've got this and that and the other. So, well, that's what you say. I don't feel no pain, you know. And I'm able to continue to move on. In fact, they told me they shouldn't be doing these things, but I said, well, look, I'm going to get out here and run these 2 or 3 miles that I've been running, And I'll talk to you guys about the pain stuff later, whatever you guys say I have that I don't have, you know. But I credit a lot of it to Qigong, and plus Korean hand therapy that I do on myself, in some of the things that I do here, and some of the things that Cornell I've worked on that we formulated ourselves in order to work on these things. There's things that you can do that will really help and hopefully take off and be able to cause a lot of healing to take place, which is one of the things that's important.
Right.
Also, one thing I wanted to mention about Qigong, and even Tai Chi, it's about visualization. We have a tendency in this country, we do jumping jacks and we don't visualize what we're doing. We just go through the motion. We do push-ups the same way. And with Tai Chi and Qigong, you can't do that, especially at a high level or even the basic level. You should always visualize something. I can't tell you what, but you should always visualize when you're doing these exercises.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's one of the things I learned was studying the Qigong, the Qigong system that I studied with the Taoist elixir system. Something I really learned with that. And often enough, I see people learning it, they're not taught that part. But my teacher imparted a lot of stuff to me.
Yeah, and I was reading a little bit about Qigong, and I saw that there's a spiritual Qigong.
There can be. Yeah, there can be.
Now, what would that consist of?
One of the Qigongs I practice is within the system that I study. We call it our Bagua Qigong version. Hold on for a second, please. I'm going to move my son out of here for just a second. Right back. Okay, so the one I study, and I tell people, Qigong, Tai Chi is not about your religious beliefs or faith. None of it is. You can use it for whatever you need to use it.
Mm-hmm.
And I studied one practice that we have we call it Bagua Qigong, but it really isn't. However, it did help me get my focus together. You know, as far as my religious practice, I'm Christian, and it really helped me get myself together in a lot of areas. There are some out there that are straight up evil. My teacher tried to pass something on to me, and he asked me what I thought about it because he had been taught it, and I told him no man should have that much power over another like that. You're talking about making a crowd of people move in a whole completely opposite direction, or scare someone so bad that they start shaking. You shouldn't have that much power over another man. And I told him I intentionally would forget it and never practice it, but I would tell the story of it.
I thought, from what I was reading, I thought it just was, something to help, like a cultivation.
Yeah, you have that. You do have it. Yes.
It's just to enhance you, spiritually, not like a religion.
But yes. Like I said, there's a good part to everything. There's a bad part to everything, pretty much. And that one I dumped the bad one like a heartbeat. I dumped it. There was a period of time that I was learning stuff that my teacher was teaching me that I had to really think about. And I took like 3 months off. And he called me up one day and said, please don't quit. You got it. You understand it. And I said, I got to understand it, but, I see where this could go to. Am I ready for that yet? And that's the Qigong I study is not by any means a low-level Qigong. It's a high-level Qigong. Cost my teacher tens of thousands to learn, and he just gave it to me because I understood it, and I wasn't going to abuse it. So, yeah, I mean, it could take you places far as your well-being and your spiritual walk. It could take you places and enhance that, give you a lot of clarity on things, help you with creativity, help you with your whatever ails you. Even reproductive health is very potent in reproductive health. And you got to be careful who you teach that to, because there's a flip side to that too. I dealt with a young man. He was 22 years old. And apparently, he'd been watching his mom's and his dad's videos, and since he was 5 years old, and it caused him to have pornographic-induced impotence at 22 years old. And I worked with him, and he was fine with it no matter what.
Wait a minute, explain that. What is that?
Pornographic-induced impotence is that he was unable to have any intercourse whatsoever because he had seen so much pornography growing up from the time he was 5 years old all the way up to 22.
Wow.
And it had really damaged him because he couldn't get turned on anymore like that. He was burnt out. And essentially what took place is he burnt up what we call G, or his essence. His ability to have reproductive energy was just completely depleted. And he'd been essentially having intercourse since he was 5 years old, because men are visual, and it automatically just depleted him. So working with him, getting him back to where he needed to be, he was thankful for us. And I said, you're going to have to be responsible. You're going to have to look at women a lot differently than what you've been introduced to, because it's a big mess. And it's caused you nothing but harm. And it's going to continue to do that. And you can't do whatever and think that's okay. So he got it under control. What he's done with it, I don't know.
What's the first thing you learned when you start practicing qigong? Is it breathing or movements? Or
breathing is the most important part, because that's where everything comes from. And then also standing in different stances. One posture is called Zhangshuan, which is the tree hugging stance or tree post stance, and you essentially raise your hands with palms facing you at chest level, and you hold your hands there. You bend your knees like you're sitting in a chair. Your legs are a little bit wide, so you're stable, wide and comfortable, shoulder width. And you stand there and you breathe from the nose down to, with the tip of the tongue behind the front teeth, or at the roof of the mouth. You breathe right below your belly button, about 2 to 3 inches. You inhale, imagine you're inhaling into the body. You hold your hands there, and you breathe there. You start off with holding it for 1 minute. If you have a problem standing there, you move up, you move your feet around, you lower yourself down again, you hold it again for another minute. You want to build up to 40 minutes to an hour, and that's how people do it.
In a day?
They do it every day.
Every day?
They do it every day. Myself, the other postures that I do, I'll take that posture and I modify it. So a simple posture you can do, if anyone wants to try, they can take their arms, hold them wide. In that same stance, widen the legs, bend the knees, put your palms about belly button level. Stare at your palms like you're reading a book. You want to breathe in and out 5 times, really deep. Tip of the tongues behind the roof of the mouth. At the roof of the mouth, behind the front teeth. Breathe in and out 5 times, like you're reading a book. Raise the arms to solar plexus level, right where the stomach and the chest meet. Breathe in and out 5 times, staring at the palms. Imagine your hands are bright red. When you're done with that, you're going to bring them eye level. You're going to breathe in and out 5 times. Remember to keep your knees bent, like you're sitting in the chair, so to speak. Breathe in and out 5 times. Lower your exhale, drop your tongue, walk around a little bit. And if you've done it right, you might feel a little bit of energy.
And does that also help your knees?
It can, but if your knees are bothering you, I would figure out, one, if you have inflammation. That would be going into 5 elements. That's okay. Let's go to the wood element, which is liver, gallbladder. If there is destruction of, let's say, bone, I would go kidney, gallbladder, and I will work on those elements the way I know how to work on One thing that might help you is if you take your hands and cup them and smack down the side of your legs, go all the way, start off at the hip and go all the way down to about mid-calf, come up and keep doing that a couple of times. And that helps stimulate the gallbladder, which is responsible for the tendons and some ligaments. The liver has to be done a different way. And that's the liver's on the inside of the leg, so you would have to raise your leg and you have to sort of start like about 4-finger width above the ankle, and you want to just tap that one little spot. That should be liver 5, spleen 6 area. You want to smack it 10 times on one leg, bring the other leg up, smack that 5 or 10 times. My main concern is liver 1, which is on the big toe, on the inside, and I would press on that. But I would do it a different way. I would use the Tibetan method of opening up that channel.
So are you basically clearing paths for energy to come through?
Yes, that's called Padai, which is like a warrior self-massage. It's called Padai. You can go to thehealingbroom.com. They have a broom and they have a method that you can learn how to do this stuff. It's online. It's called thehealingbroom.com. Essentially, it's a metal broom, essentially, and you smack those channels. And what happens is, by doing that, it breaks up the chi stagnation or congealed blood in the area, let the energy pathways open up, and it'll help you out tremendously. They call it the healing broom.
So do you practice the yin and the yang theory?
Yeah, you can use yin. It's in all traditional Asian medicine, but I tell you the truth, it's easier to know the 5 elements or 8 extraordinary vessels, but the 5 elements is an excellent start, because once you understand those, you know what organ, what meridian it is. It's all right there.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of difficult in my area to find a live class. There's, like you said, there's plenty of things online, but personally, I prefer a live class.
Yeah, that's why I want to. Hopefully, I will be able to open up. Cornell was talking to me about it a couple of weeks ago, so he wants me to start teaching out of his home. So we'll see how well that goes. He said sometime in April, so we'll look forward to that. And that is one of the many things that I want to start off doing. I would like to start teaching Korean hand therapy, 5-element therapy, so people understand how to take care of themselves. Because if you look at our current healthcare status, you have. I just got a text today how they want adequate staffing in the hospitals, and that's a problem. I said, well, a lot of hospitals shut down after COVID. Why, I don't know. There should have been a big push to make more, because they're saying the situation is going to get worse, and soon you won't have adequate people. We're going to be faced with what China had, which they had there was no way in the world they admitted they couldn't take care of all the people that were there. So they came up with their barefooted doctors manual, which they trained these people in traditional Asian medicine, how to control infection, how to take care of this, how to take care of that, and they trained these people in this methodology of traditional Asian medicine. They went from place to place. They trained someone in the village, and they trained everybody, and everyone soon enough learned how to take care of themselves, so they didn't have to rely on going to a healthcare facility.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I'm doing this podcast, because we need to know how to take care of ourselves. We're not being offered many choices in the healthcare system. Their protocols are so limited. Basically, whatever you go to them for, they're going to offer you drugs or surgery or some sort of radiation.
Right.
Basically, those are the choices. And it doesn't matter what your illness is. Those are basically all the choices that there are. And there's so many holistic healthcare modalities that
you can go to other countries that they don't offer what we offer first, and they're not there. You go to places in Europe, they're like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to offer this first. You know,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
they'll rather than give you drugs or surgery, just do this. This will take care of it. They're into more of a curing or more of you into a holistic care than what they are here. And I agree with what you're saying, you know. But my main thing is in this country we're headed for a healthcare crisis that there's not going to be people adequate enough to take care of the people. I mean, the skill set takes a while to learn. The people are in the field; they could be in the field 10 years and not know how to do certain things because they're inept in the field. And I've seen that time and time again. You
Yeah,
know?
I think we're already there, and we already have a crisis.
Oh
Right
yeah.
now, we're in it.
Oh yeah.
Whether
Yeah.
we
That's what I said. I was willing to teach Korean hair therapy, qigong, just to start. Just to start.
Yep. So we're looking forward to you, getting that class together and putting that out there. We need it. We need it badly.
That's the plan for this year. That is the plan for this year.
Okay. So does anyone have any questions for William? You can unmute yourself. Okay. All right. If you do, just jump in.
Okay, there you go. There you go. I'm muted. Okay. I think you gotta let people know. I think it's star 6 for a mute, Sister Sharon.
*6.
Yeah, star 6. If you got them on soft mute, hard mute, they ain't gonna be able to mute themselves. But I wanna holler at Brother William again because we had a conversation earlier this week. Peace and blessings, Brother William.
Peace and blessings. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing great, doing great. Coming down to see you, and I think the best time would be after you go to see your teacher down in North Carolina. I know you said you'd be down there for a couple of days. Quick question I want to ask you, because, back in the day, there was the martial arts craze. I'm 66.
Yeah.
And I remember we used to always go down, and I still got VHS tapes, Eagles Claw and all that other stuff. And we used to go down to the Adams State up here in Newark, New Jersey, 99 cents. We all ran there, used to be packed up in there. And you had the guys walking in with the kung fu gis and the karate shoes. And quick question. When Bruce Lee was in Fist of Fury, he fought the guy had the bird cage. And remember, in the end, Bruce got to his ribs. And can someone actually train their hands? They call it like sticking fingers or something. Can they actually go in someone's body?
Yeah.
Oh, that's deep, brother. That's deep. Because sometimes I was like, yeah, right. But then again, I said, wait a minute. Somebody trains their hand or something. That takes years of training, doesn't it, brother?
It could take 1 year of training. I mean, there are trees in I can't remember what it is, but it's around the Forbidden City where you'll see in the trees that's around it, you'll see where people have been striking it and hitting it. You see the fingers that have been entered into it. You'll see the holes in the trees where they've done it, all over those trees.
Wow.
Yeah, people train that.
Yeah.
But you pay a price.
Yeah. That has to do some. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
It might not feel your fingers anymore. You might have so much calcification that you can't move them anymore when you get older. You pay a price.
Yeah, and I hate to get in a fight with somebody like that and they got next to my ribs. I'd really be in trouble. and right. And also, brother, like I said, I'm coming down to see you, and I'm bringing some people with me because I have some people that are interested in coming down. But I wanted to give you a shout-out and just to support you. And for the listeners up here, come on, family. I mean, we need to exercise. I do exercise, and I feel great. So I'm sure this brother can show me some different things, take me to a different level of evolvement, okay, if there is such a word. You evolve. So I just wanted to give you a shout-out. And, brother, I will be in contact. I have your number. I'll be in contact with you. I'm coming down to see you. I guess we could all meet at Tony's spot because I got to meet Sharon for the first time and Dr. Ali. So definitely looking at coming to shake your hand, brother. Just don't flip me when I shake your hand now, brother.
No problem.
All right. Peace and blessings. And
set it up. Be sure to set it up with Tony.
Oh, yeah. That's no problem. Tony comes on this network the first Saturday of every month on my time slot. So, yeah, definitely no problem. No problem, brother.
Sure, no problem.
Thank you. Thank you, Sharon.
As far as when are you thinking of coming to Philadelphia?
It'll be when William gets back, because he said he was going down to meet with his teacher. He said he'll be down there for a couple of days. So when he gets back, because I got to go to a couple of events. They have, I don't know if you're familiar with this gentleman. I'm trying to think. Susan might have to help me. I'm going to an event tomorrow. Say it again, Susan.
Mumia.
No, not Mumia. The brother's coming to the brother's event.
Oh, tomorrow, Lloyd Strahan?
Lloyd Strahan, yeah, the numerology guy.
He did a lot of stints on WBLS and KISS. He's very well known. He's going to be at Refoul tomorrow, 279 South 9th Street. Its doors open at 1:30, but I know Mr. Forrest Mr. Van said he's going to be there probably by 1 o'clock, or Mr. Kai will be there at 12 o'clock, but the doors open probably 1:30.
Yeah, I told him I'll be there because he's going to show slides, I think, before Brother Lloyd talks and speaks and addresses the audience. Then I got something I want to go to next Saturday, Sister Clements. It's going to be with Mumia. That's going to be at a church over in Harlem, and they're going to have Pam Africa on. You remember back in 84, 85 when they bombed the house over there. In fact, I don't know if Brother Wayne remembers, but they bombed. There was a movement out there in Philadelphia, and they bombed the house.
Most people in Philadelphia remember that.
Yeah. And Pam Africa is going to be at this event because they're trying to get Mumia out of jail. You know, the brother's going through all kind of health issues, you know. And the sister just before, you know, your show, Sharon, she was on, Gwen DeBrow. She's in New York, but she's spearheading the movement for the release of Mumia down there in Philly. As you know, they refused to give him a retrial, even though it's been proven he's innocent. They got new evidence, and the sister judge would not allow it. So going to support the brother. I'll be over there with some other progressive-minded people, you know. So to be continued, that's what I'll be. And I'm going to see, I promise him, we're coming down to see you, Brother William. Like I said, when I'm coming at least 3 deep. I'm bringing the sister with me, and it'll probably be King David. He might be listening in, and Brother Michael Tyson. So we'll be coming down.
Okay, I look forward to seeing you, Forrest.
Oh, I'm coming, sis. I'm coming.
May I be heard?
Yes.
Yes. A question for the guest. I'm very concerned about EMFs. Have you talked about that? I'm on my cell phone, maybe more than I should be, and I'm just worrying, is there anything that you are using in your cabinet of goodies that can maybe help me reduce these rays?
Well, bear in mind that you're facing them on a constant basis, no matter where you go, cell phone or not, because you do have cell phone towers, and they do transmit. You do have things in your car that transmit, the Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, etc. So there are a lot of devices out there. It's just a matter of finding the right one. And I personally, I had them on my phone, and I just don't remember what they're called. There is one, I think Don Paris had one, but I don't know if it's small enough. There's, what is it, Scholar Devices? Let me look this up real quick. Scholar Devices?
Yeah, there's a lot of things. Actually, I actually sell these little small discs that you can put on your phone that is, reduces some of the EMF transmission into your phone, so it doesn't get into your body. And of course, you never want to hold the phone up to your head. You want to have, a headset, not a headset, but a earpiece.
Yeah.
Not the Bluetooth, because that's not helping. Just the regular, inexpensive little earpiece. And
that you plug in.
Yeah, that you plug in your phone. Yeah, you don't want any Bluetooth piece. Yeah.
Apologies. I'd like to know, okay, I want to find out that information. Maybe you can, somehow we can connect. And, if it's been working for you, I'd rather buy something somebody's using who can kind of give me a testimony about it,
Sure. You can contact me at 267.
Hold on, ma'am. Okay, 267, ma'am. Go ahead.
334
334.
4655.
Mm-hmm.
It's me, Sharon.
267-334-4655. And this is Sister
Sharon.
Sharon. Okay, thank you so much.
Sure. And your name is?
Susan.
Oh, this is Susan. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, you're welcome. Any other questions?
Yes.
Go ahead, you can speak.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'd like to know when Brother William will start this class.
That's Cordell wants me to start a class sometime in April. So I'll be willing to do that. And Tony's been trying to get me to start some stuff too. So that's something that's going to iron up. But I know for sure in April is when I plan on teaching the Qigong class. I more than likely will offer Korean hand therapy probably in the month of June. I'm going to compile some more information. I'll be teaching Korean hand therapy along with 5-element therapy. Once again, a more concise course.
And what are those therapies, William?
5-element therapy, once again, has to deal with specific acupuncture meridians that pertain to organs. If we can put it in our terms, so it'll be liver, which is wood, heart, which is fire, kidney, which is water, stomach, which is wood. Let me see. I think I named almost all of them. So to deal with those particular different things. Metal, which is lung. So we'll be dealing with it that way. And each one of those are paired with a different organ. You're going to learn what the deficiencies are when they're deficient. You know, yin deficiency in kidney, you'll feel cold. When the heart's in excess, you'll feel a lot of anger, rage. So we'll work with organs that way. You're going to learn those things, and when you see those deficiencies pop up, and you see it within yourself or other people, you're going to know exactly what it is. You're going to know what Korean hand therapy method you could utilize, where to target, and you're going to find those deficiencies. You'll be able to work with them from the Korean hand therapy method.
So is that more like acupressure?
Well, you can use acupressure. You can use a probe, such as a specially designed wooden stick. You can also use a cold laser, which is my favorite tool to utilize to do that. Or you can even use moxa. Some people use needles, but I use no needle technique. I prefer a laser because all you have to do is really be right beside the point and not actually be on it exactly. You can hit that point, and you'll definitely give the point the exposure it needs. And the laser doesn't take as long for it to work. So it might take you 30 to 40 seconds, depending on the strength of your laser or your cold laser, and it'll stimulate the point and resolve the problem. Aid to resolve the problem. I also use a therapeutic ozone device. We call it the TAS. And it works well. It works well as far as maintaining and keeping everything open. But for Korean hand therapy purposes, I wouldn't be so fast to jump on it. You know, you could, it'll work, but it keeps everything open for quite some time. I like using that device. I was fortunate enough to have Cindy and Robin over from your podcast. They came over last week, and they got the results that they wanted, and they were surprised by it. So.
Great, that's awesome. I did talk to Cindy. She told me she did meet with you. Right. So it was Robin also, you said?
Yes.
Great.
I have one more question.
Sure. Go ahead.
Is it possible, Brother William, you can explain, I think it's the meridians? I was told that was a part of the therapy or the basis of it.
Yeah, well, acumeridians, if you think about it, are little tubes that go from the central nervous system to said organ or to whatever they have redundant systems and some that are direct. So you might have A gallbladder channel, for instance, it might go all the way down to your baby toe and go all the way to your back. I mean, it might be a real long channel. But if one of them becomes blocked, and let's say you have pain in that area, then what you have to do is you have to be able to get it to open up. And essentially, that's what acupuncture is for. That's what Qigong's for. Even eating your food is for that. However, due to whatever circumstance you may have this issue, whether it be diet, whether it be lack of exercise, dehydration, you have to use something to stimulate to open it up because it can greatly affect that organ if you don't. And you can end up suffering the results. You might end up with arthritis. You might end up with heart palpitations. You might end up with a stroke if they're not properly maintained. So that's what you're doing. You're trying to open these areas up so the healing can take place, that the organ can constantly receive the information that it needs to receive. Okay?
Okay.
Does that help?
No, I still need if you could is the meridian system, what parts of the body is it runs through your core body or your limbs or something?
It runs through your legs, depending on what meridian. Like liver 1 start off with the inside of the big toe, right in that lower left-hand corner. And it'll run it'll run through the big toe. That's liver 1 to liver 3. Then it'll come up the foot, going to above the ankle. You got liver 5 right there. And it'll keep going through your legs. So it depends on what meridian, okay? Heart 1 starts in the armpit. Heart 3 is like in the bicep, almost halfway. So it depends on what meridian you're talking about. There's numerous meridians in the body, and it depends on what system you're talking about. You have to take a class, and I can do a class on that to break it all down for you, tell you where it starts, where it finishes. But in truth, it is so much easier to learn the element system or the Korean hand therapy system because you don't have to go through all that for one, and it's an excellent start. And you can get a handle on just the basic therapeutics which you can implement right away. Now, as far as you learning the channels and what to do with them, that goes into what we use as a no-needle system. It goes into Qigong. My Qigong practice, when I started doing Qigong and stuff, I had experience with, before I started the medicinal version, I had experience with naturopathy, but my experience also was the fighting aspect of it. So I knew how to disrupt an acupuncture system and destroy it with a strike, whereas I didn't even have to think about what I was doing. I had to think about how to do it, but I didn't have to worry about the meridian, but I knew where the meridians were. All I had to do was hit one and then wipe out shut down the entire meridian. The point of learning meridians and where they start and finish is to learn how to find, maybe it's probably better for you to find what's called an ostra point where it may hurt. And that'll let you know, well, hey, there's an obstruction here, but what are you going to do with it is the question. What therapeutic are you going to use? Even if you know them all, if you don't know the therapeutic methods, it doesn't matter. You'll know where the problem is. You know what the problem. You'll have to go to an acupuncturist to see if they can help you, and they may or may not be able to help you. However, you could begin therapy right away just with the hand therapy method, and it'll open up that entire meridian because it's a mirror system. All the acupuncture points that you want to find, you can find them in the hand.
So, William, we have meridians running throughout the body.
Yes.
And correlate with different organs in different parts of the body.
Yes. And you have microsystems that you can use. You have systems in the ear. You have systems in the face, on the scalp, going down your spine, hand, foot, stomach, which is Taoist sacred turtle technique. So you have meridians everywhere. But the thing is, you have microsystems that you can work to stimulate the meridians the same way as if someone were to come by and use traditional acupuncture or Chairman Mao's acupuncture on
you. Okay. Do we have any more questions?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I just want to congratulate William on his studies and his thoroughness in his therapies.
How you doing, Cordell?
Okay. People only come if you want results. It's not you're different when you leave. That's all I can tell you. You're better when you leave.
Okay,
and you can't say that for a lot of places. Yes.
Just give us a little information about who you are, because William has referred to you several times during this presentation, but just for the sake of everybody else, they would like.
Okay. My new title, self-titled, is Trauma Detective. Nobody dies of trauma, but everybody dies with it. So it's my job to find out where the trauma is and have that person go back in their DNA to solve it. If it's emotional, if it's physical, it's right in front of me. But if it's emotional, you have to go a little bit deeper. Don't blame yourself. It could be something that happened to a great-great-grandparent, like slavery, things like that, and that gets locked into your DNA. And if your immune system goes down enough, then that will surface.
And manifest as disease?
Imbalance. Disease is allopathic name,
Yeah.
It's either balance or imbalance, and that's the source of health. Everything that William explained is creating balance.
So you're William's teacher. That's what I was trying
One of many.
One of many. I would say mentor. I have him by a few years. And I was just blessed to meet him because of his thirst for knowledge. Not only thirst for knowledge, but to put it in action, which is the important part. So I just want to tell everybody out there that William is a very dedicated practitioner. And he's one of the few people I call the iceberg people. And if you look at the iceberg, what you see is only 10%. So he's one of maybe 3 or 4 that I classify as an iceberg person.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you for saying those things.
Well, it's easy to speak the truth.
Awesome.
Well, William, good evening, Cordell. Good evening, William, and everyone that's listening. This is Donald.
I think I recognize that voice.
Yeah. Yes, sir. That's sir. Well, I can speak very highly of William as well as Brother Cordell there. And they both have helped me a great deal. William can tell me certain things, and it's very true. It works. He's helped me tremendously. He don't guess, he know. As well as the brother just was speaking, Cordell. When he spoke about the DNA in your past, he told me things, and William told me things that I had never told either one of them or anybody. And they found out exactly what was going on with me, that I had been carrying, that I didn't realize that I was carrying for generations, all the way back. As far back as maybe 3,000 to 4,000 generations.
Wow.
And that's real. And to do what he said do, it came to fruition after I got where I am now. So the brother's very knowledgeable. And when you say he's an iceberg, that go for both of them. They don't guess. They be knowing. Thank you.
Donald.
Take care, Donald.
Take care, Donald.
That's pretty interesting what Donald said about things going back to multiple generations in the DNA. I'm interested in knowing a little bit more about that. Maybe Cordell, you would want to tell us a little bit more about that.
Basically, if a person learns, I teach what they call muscle testing. You want to get scientific, it's kinesiology, but muscle testing is so simple, as Dr. Wyatt used to say. Everything is so simple after you learn it. But what I teach is very simple, and it's just like anything else. You develop a muscle. You develop a sensitivity. I had challenges where I had to go back to 946 AD in my DNA, yeah. And once I did that, the imbalance was solved. But, that's what you are. You're part of a lineage. If you want to go, what?
How do you do that?
How do I go back?
Yeah,
if I look at a person and I determine it's emotional, then usually it's either feminine or masculine. And you just keep on going back. Where's the source of this trauma coming from? You can locate it, deal with one trauma at a time. You can locate it basically by checking them out. Usually an organ will tell you the source of the trauma. We're magnificent. Our organs store emotions. And if they're overstimulated, then you have an imbalance.
Yeah, but you said, okay, if you go back multiple generations, I'm still not clear how you get there.
All right, well.
Back to muscle testing. Ask it. Ask it, it shall be given. Doctor, don't ask. Don't ask if you're not willing, ready to receive the answer.
Amen.
Because it's not cutting you off, but remembering what is bound in the spirit realm is also bound in the physical realm. So if we see a blockage in the physical realm, it's blocked up in the spiritual realm, which is going backwards. So what Cordell is saying is going backwards. To locate it, what we see now is an extension and a continuation of the beginning from where it comes from.
Mm-hmm.
So you ask the question, and that's where the muscle testing come in. But he teaches you how to ask the question, because you can get the answer to any question that you ask, but you got to know how to ask the question. Then you have to know exactly who is it that's desiring to know the answer, and are you willing to receive the answer that you're about to get, because you get the answer. You're going to get the answer, but can you, like to stay in the mood, you can't handle the truth, because I'm speaking really from experience. These two brothers told me some things that I know I'd never told them. They sit me down and they went back, and Cordell continued to go back and back and back. And then William told me names of people that I've never given him the names of, and found out why I was carrying certain things that happening to me and got it broke off me. And I didn't realize that while I was bound up in the spirit realm, why I couldn't manifest certain things in this physical form now in the three-dimensional plane of this reality experience. Because in actuality, it's all a spiritual war.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a very serious spiritual war, and you need people like William and Cordell.
People have to realize the old saying, hurt people hurt people.
Right.
Yes.
That goes throughout history.
Yeah.
So hopefully by April, we'll have everything up and running.
I hope so. We'll have to
will you
say
ever
that again?
Will you ever come to have a course?
Okay. You were breaking up, or either somebody else was talking at the same time?
trying to talk. Go ahead and ask your question.
Sure. I would like you to come to New Jersey and do something here in this area, New Jersey.
It would have to be in a group setting. You know, I'm 77 and I rarely see people one-on-one. I'd rather share it with a group of people.
Okay.
Do you have a group setting that you would want him to come and speak?
Yes, there's the brother who's doing he owns his own building here in New Jersey, in Newark, New Jersey, the Resal building headquarters there, and it can hold about up to 150 people. But it's always groups there doing yoga and different things of that nature. So maybe we can kind of work to get him here in New Jersey and teach some classes and things of that nature, because it's his building, he owns it. So, you know, yeah.
Well, there's a possibility, you know, for myself and William to go. Depends upon our schedules.
Yeah,
but you know, I'd be glad to spread the knowledge.
Yes, because this is some really interesting information. It's funny that you talk about going back that many years. Guy who talks about that he was on WBAI, and he was saying about how trauma go back that long ago, that it can affect your body. And I was like, wow, that's very interesting. So this is just what you can do, and it's very interesting. And as the guy said before, we got to really learn how to take care of ourselves. We're having incompetent people in hospitals making all these mistakes, so we got to really start to learn what our our plan B would really be. Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, just talk to your body and send love.
And what we'll do
when I'm in pain, I usually ask for the body part to forgive me for the abuse I have given it, and the pain usually lessens. I don't tell anybody it'll stop, but if anybody's been in pain, you want it to lessen.
And what's your name, sister, that just spoke?
Susan.
Oh, that's Susan. Okay. So, Susan, at the end of the program, which is coming in a couple of minutes, William will give you his contact information, so you can contact him, and if you want yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, we would love to bring him. I mean, this is powerful. I mean, it's powerful.
I can give you my phone number now. If anyone who wants to take it down, feel free to text me at 267-761-7104. That's 267-761-7104.
267-761-7104.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
I put it in the chat.
Okay, great. Some people call in, William, so they don't see the chat.
Gotcha.
Okay. Do we have anything?
I have a quick question. Hello?
Go ahead.
Yes, hello?
And my name is Michael, and I heard you talk about muscle testing. Do you teach muscle testing also?
Yes, Cordell does, and we both teach muscle testing.
Okay, that's great. I'll be very interested in that.
Okay.
It's a wonderful thing to know.
Yeah,
I actually took a class years ago, but they no longer teach it anymore, and I couldn't find any other place that teaches that. So it's great to know.
Okay, you can do a lot with it. Like I said, I had to go back to 946 AD for myself on one occasion. So, like Dr. Wise says, it's so simple. After you know it, it's so simple.
Yeah.
Are these practices kids can learn, children can learn?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that they showed me how to muscle test. I don't use it as much. But however, I deal a lot with meditation and yoga and mindfulness. And one of the things that helped me a great deal is that they taught me about being still. And that helps me with my muscle testing the way I do it. A person has to be willing to be still. With all the distractions and chaos that's out in the atmosphere now, it makes it difficult to be still.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, don't forget how you picked out your friends, all those friends you have in your house.
Yeah. Yep. I muscle tested. And I have a lot of them. But,
and what we're talking about is all the crystals in his house. Crystals are just another form of life, so respect them.
Yeah. And like what else say, I have a lot of them. And they communicate with me well, but I had to really muscle test in order to place them where they need to be placed. And I learned to be still and be quiet and really enter in so much that I also leave out, but still be entered in. And that's what muscle testing has helped me a great deal to be able to do, was to know how to place my crystals and stones in the right positions, in the right location. So muscle testing is very, very good.
So I'm going to ask Cordell to just for everybody, to make sure everybody's clear on what muscle testing is. Could you give us a description and a definition?
Muscle testing is the ability to have your body tell you what is good for you, or, like I say, become a detective. If I want to find out about a person, all I need is a person's birth name, his birth date and birthplace, and that piece of paper becomes that person, and I can ask questions. But you have to learn muscle testing so you can know that you're connected to the universal intelligence. If you're not connected, your answers can be all over the place. It's sort of like if anybody has had a pendulum. You know, if your mind isn't clear, which means out of the way, then you won't get the correct answer. And muscle testing is just like that.
Hi, I have a question.
Yes?
My name is Jamie. What are the benefits of crystals, like the health benefits?
Benefits of what?
Crystals.
Let's see if I can try to get a simple answer. Imagine a person be able to communicate with your cells to improve your health. Nonverbal communication. We pick up things. Have you ever been around somebody and after they leave you feel bad, they feel good? There's been a communication between the cells. You know, we nickname them energy vampires.
Yes.
But basically just to learn how to communicate with the universal intelligence. Once you do that, because I don't analyze a person directly, because if I do that, my bad energy will go to their good energy, and their good energy will go to my bad energy, and we'll both be affected.
Mm.
So rather than do that, you communicate with the universal intelligence, which knows everything about you, you know, everything about your past lives. And like Donald said, you just have to ask the right question to get the right answer.
But the question referred to the benefits of crystals, the health benefits.
Whatever you can imagine, a crystal can do. You just have to find the right crystal. You put your intention out in the universe, and sooner or later, once you forget about it, it will come to pass.
Yes. That's a new word that I give people now.
And different products. So I we just want to, be clear that we're talking about the same thing.
So, like, if I say, okay, so question, you said crystals is whatever I put in, it comes out. So if I say, oh, crystals will give me a healthy heart, can you please go more into depth about the benefits of crystals and, like, why it's important? That kind of, I a little more of an iteration, like, what's the benefits?
Now, you have to ask universal intelligence, is there a crystal out there for you for the purpose that you want?
Yes.
Then you have to muscle test, if you want to go as far as whether it's in my city, whether it's in my state, the location. Once you find the crystal, you have to ask for it to help you, because I have a crystal that has really made a change in a young girl's life just by holding it for 15 minutes. But before I, show the crystal in person, I ask the crystal, do you want to help this person? And if the crystal says no, then, I'll have to do something else. But people say you can program crystals. To me, that's a form of slavery. You're trying to force that crystal to do something. And, I don't do that. That's just my philosophy. I'm not going to force a crystal to do anything. And, I have a few crystals myself.
This seems like it's a protocol. It seems like it's not a one-size-fits-all type of methodology that you're talking about, because I can just keep going on. What crystals, how do you get crystals, where do they come from, and how do I know which crystal is right for me? So I think this should be in a more course setting, because, it seems like there's a lot more involved that you people are very knowledgeable about and have experience. It's not, what I'm saying? A crystal, what crystal? Where do I get it? How can you, it's not crazy, because it's something you got experience. But for me to listen to this, and I'm thinking to myself, what's going on here? So I think we need to be further educated, and like I said, there's some type of protocol and methodology to the whole uniqueness of this.
Right, I agree.
Just learn muscle testing. That's the answer to all your questions.
Okay.
Once you learn muscle testing, all those questions that you asked me just now will be answered.
Yeah, you'll be able to ask and you'll find a solution. One of the main things is, especially, you have to ask yourself a question. If you have a heart issue, for instance, like you're saying, you would ask the question: is there a stone that can work with that to really clear this problem up? And if the answer is no, then you have to ask, is it an herb? Is there a vitamin? Is there a mineral? Is there a color, a different type of material? Is there a sound that I need to have? Our form of muscle testing goes deep. Cornell named it the C&W technique, but it goes very deep, and it keeps on evolving. That's why one of my teachers said my Qigong was going to develop differently than everyone else's, which was fine to him, because of the fact of I had learned muscle testing years earlier, but the method that Cornell was using was making me expand upon, on the different levels I could go. And I said, this stuff is limitless. I could go all day long with it.
Amen. Amen.
So
it's funny you say that, because somebody may say, oh, will I be a millionaire? Will my mother die tomorrow? It's kind of like it's taking me to like I said, I think you guys are very experienced in what you do. You've been doing this for a number of years. And if you don't take it seriously, it's like people might say, can you trick the muscle? Like, I'm going to see if this is really going to work if I ask this muscle a question, or am I going to be a millionaire? Is my marriage going to work out? Is my husband going to leave me? Is my sister going to get sick tomorrow? It's got to be some type of protocol. And I know
if a person wants to ask those questions, I personally would not answer them. Okay, that's somebody, a woman asked me, am I pregnant? We'll see.
As many years as I've known Cordell, there was a situation that happened last year that he wasn't answering. I could tell. I said, okay. I get it. He wanted to take it off of me. He wanted me to learn to let go. And he's obviously, you got to back off and let go sometimes. And I'm like, I get it, because otherwise you'll ask questions about it over and over and over and over and over, and it doesn't make sense. You'll run down, as they call the rabbit hole. You don't need to do that.
Are you there?
We're getting to the end of the program, so I want to give William, since he's our guest tonight, a chance to close out. If you have any closing words, and if you would like to repeat your contact information, now would be a good time to do that.
Yeah, you can contact me via text. That's 267-761-7104. Text me your email address, please, and I'll reply to you. That's 267-761-7104. My closing remarks are: is whatever you pick, whatever exercise you do, make sure you have the correct mind intent. If you're bent on healing, you're working on it to heal. If you're working on it for mental calm or peace or whatever, serenity, whatever you're looking for, that has to be your intent. There's a saying that your yi leads your chi, meaning your thoughts lead where your chi goes, how it develops, or how your body's medicine reacts. And that's one of the most important things to do. And I've seen people do exercises for years, do Tai Chi for years, and so you just go through the motions because you feel obligated to do it. It's not going to help you. It's not going to be as beneficial.
Okay. Well, thank you again, William, for stimulating, enlightening conversation, and we'll hope to have you on again soon. Maybe we'll talk to your mentor, Cordell, about coming on again. Also, we will be back.
All is in divine order.
Okay. Definitely. Must be in divine order. So we hope to see you all back in 2 weeks, which would be March the 2nd at 8:30 p.m. And we will we'll take it all from there. So everyone have a great evening. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and hope to have you back in 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. Thank you, William.
Thank you all. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Night.